Shelabobby Handmade. My name is Caitlin, and I am known just about everywhere on the internet as Shelabobby. Welcome to my podcast where we talk about knitting, crochet. There's a bug on the wall that just distracted me. I'm sorry. It's not a dangerous bug. Looks like a little beetle. Everything's fine. But anyway, welcome to the podcast. Today we have crochet, we have knitting, we have socks. We have lots of socks because we know we love socks here. We have some acquisitions, and if you stick to the end, I also have some stats for the first quarter of the year. So just a quick update on it. I am trying to bring in less than I am using as far as yarn stash. And so I have some updates to my stash and how that's going. You can be the judge on how that's going when we get there. I'm going to roll up my sleeves because it is a little bit warmer than I thought it was going to be in here. We are definitely in spring, and so the days warm up as it gets later in the day, and it's about 2 o'clock. So here on Sunday, which is when I typically record for the podcast. And yeah, I think I can't see it says it's 63 in here, so that's not too bad, but it is definitely humid and warm. But let's jump right in to finished objects. The first one is a pair of socks, and these you saw in the last episode if you watched it. They are my Honey It's Cold Out socks, and I am putting this sock on the blocker backwards. The Honey It's Cold Out socks by Anna Hart, I believe. Yes, Ann Hart, or also known as Toby Knits. And I got this pattern. Emily from Mimily Makes was making this pattern, and she had a discount code that Toby Knits provided, and so I picked up the pattern. So I'm going to show it to you on the blocker, and then I'll show it to you off the blocker just so that you can see the pattern a little bit better. But here is one of the finished socks, and I will let you know about the yarn here in just a moment as well. But this is the finished sock. And like I said, there is a pattern on the front of it. Here is the one off the blocker. So it just has these honeycombs. I'm calling them honeycombs, but I believe Anne was saying that they are inspired by the icicles on a windshield, like on a cold day. So, yeah, so that is the pattern. The pattern is Honey It's Cold Out socks by Ann Hart. And Toby Knits, I think, is how she's known on Instagram. So the yarn, I'll show you the tag of the yarn. I'm going to get rid of that little piece of paper, is the Yarn of Enchantment Club from Long Dog Yarn. This is the January colorway, the White Sands National Park. It is 75/25 merino sock yarn. And so I'll show you that yarn a little bit closer. So this yarn is one of the monthly club yarns. It is so super soft and squishy, and the mini is part of the sock set as well. So everything was included in that particular sock set. So these are socks for my sister. Whoa, you can focus. Hello. There we go. So these are socks for my sister. I have a plan to make a bunch of socks for her throughout the year, put them in a box and either give them to her for her birthday or Christmas or both, depending on how many I can make. So I will be adding these pair of socks to her collection for that date and time. So those are done. Let's see some dates on those. I started them on March 12th and finished them on March 25th. It is a 62 stitch pattern, and I knit them on Magic Loop on US 1 2.25 millimeter needles. That is all for that one. So the next one, we'll take a break from socks, and we'll do, let's put her on this side, Winnie the Elephant. So this is a pattern by Susan B. Anderson. It's called Winnie Elephant, and I knit this for, if you saw the last episode or the episode before, I was making a baby blanket for my cousin who is having his first baby with his wife, and so I wanted to use the leftovers and decided to make this little elephant because one, the colors worked for it, and two, she is decorating the baby's nursery in like a safari, nature, and she really likes elephants. So I made Winnie, and I'll give you a close-up of her here. Trying to not bump my I love this yarn, and I believe this gray is called granite gray. The black is just black. The light blue, I can't remember what it's called. It's like light blue, or I can't remember exactly. You can see it on the pattern page. I think I have it on there. And then this darker blue is a dark denim, which you will see here in a few minutes as well. So it is just a cute little pattern with a adorable elephant. I enjoyed the pattern. This is only the second animal that I have knit. Kate's Bunny was the first one, also by Susan B. Anderson. But I enjoyed the pattern and how she utilizes purl bumps to mark where things need to be picked up later in the pattern. And it's just a genius way to not make things so nerve-wracking. The color work, I probably should have gone up a needle size, because you can see like the texture of the sweater is nice and fitted up at the top, but then when you get into the color work, it's quite tight. But I'm not too concerned about that. The pants turned out nicely. Yeah, I'm happy with it. So this is a elephant for my cousin's baby. So I'm going to, the blanket is washed, blocked, dried, ready to go. So I'm going to take some finished object pictures of it and the elephant together, and then I'm going to put it in the mail this week. So that is ready to go. I cast this on March 27th and finished it on April 1st. So only a couple days for me to finish it up. The only thing I did not include from the pattern is it did have a little hat. I did not feel like making the hat. I wanted its ears and head to be out. And then I also did not do the mouth, because I have learned that for some reason I cannot do straight lines for a mouth. So she does not have a mouth. Alright, third finished object is another pair of socks. So last week, I think it was Sunday that he asked me, we were, yeah, because it was Easter. We were over here, Easter, they were hanging out for lunch, and my nephew asked me for a pair of socks. And I have asked my oldest nephew if I can make him anything: hats, socks, blankets, sweaters, scarves, whatever he wants. And he always says, no, thank you, I'm good. So he asked for a pair of socks. And so I immediately said, come to the room, come to the yarn shop and pick a yarn. So I opened up my tubs of yarn and I was like, any one of these. There are no limits. Pick a yarn, any yarn, I'm going to make you some socks. This is the yarn that he chose. This is the darkest yarn that I had in my collection. So this is the socks that I made for him, and they are finished. So you have not seen these at all. I started and finished these quite quickly. So I'm calling these my After Dark socks. That is the colorway, and I'll show you the details on that yarn here in a moment. But this is a 68 stitch sock. I believe it's like 20-ish rounds for the cuff, 25-ish rounds for the leg. He said he wanted a little bit of a longer one. I had him try on a whole bunch of socks that I had. That bug is getting closer to me. Go away, little buggy. You're fine. Go, go. Shoo, shoo. Anyway, I had him try a whole bunch of my socks of various lengths and just picked the one that he chose off of that. So he has tried on one of these socks before I finished the other one yesterday, and so they fit nicely. He actually said, will you have them done for me to wear them to bed tonight? And I said, unfortunately, yes. I said, but I need to record them for the podcast, so you'll get them as soon as the podcast is over. So after recording, I'm going to drive them over to his house so he can have them for tonight, because he is excited about them. But I cast these on March 26th and finished them April 6th. So last night I put the last Kitchener stitch on the toe. These are 68 stitches, US 1 magic loop, and I made them for my nephew. his selection of yarns. So this yarn is Emma's Yarn, Practically Perfect Sock Base in the colorway After Dark. It is an 80/20 base. So here is the tag. Emma's Yarn. And then After Dark. So these are done and completed and ready for him. So like I said, as soon as the podcast is over, I'm going to run these over to his house so that he can have those. Also taking finished objects pictures. I have a pile of finished objects that do not have pictures on Ravelry yet. So if you haven't already, you can check a look on my Ravelry page and you will be able to see finished object pictures for everything that I still have access to. That bug is getting closer. Mr. Beetle, please, go do something else. Go back to the wall. No. He's now climbing on the microphone stand. Sir, can you not? Okay, we'll try and ignore him. I mean, he's not going to hurt me, so it's fine. It's fine. Leave him be. Leave him be. Okay, so now works in progress. So the first work in progress that I will show you is one that you have seen before, and I have one completed. These are what I am calling my Ray socks, or I believe I am pronouncing it correctly when I say Raisin Fara Beach. That is a, I believe, Icelandic, if I am not mistaken, colorway from Iceland. This is Explore Knits and Fibers. If I have the tag, I will show it to you. The Denali base, and this is from the Winter Solstice box that she released last year. So this is beautiful. These are, for me, of course, this is my favorite pair of socks that was in the collection. From the Winter Solstice. Sorry, this is my favorite colorway that was in there. So these are for me 68 stitches, magic loop, US ones, 20 rounds for the cuff, 20-ish rounds for the leg, regular heel flap gusset, regular everything, part of my normal vanilla pattern. Let's see what I have in here. Yes, here is the tag. So Explore Knits and Fibers. And Race and Fara, I believe. Race and Fara. Yeah, Race and Fara Beach. I believe that's how I looked it up. So that is an 80/20 base. And I just realized I had my arm in front of the microphone. Hopefully that didn't mess it up too badly. Here it is in the cake. And it is just my favorite colorway out of that whole entire set. So loving it, loving it, loving it. Here is the second sock. It is literally a start. 2 rounds, all tangled up. 2 rounds on the cuff. That's all I got. So just a start on the second pair. This will likely be my walking for work socks. So it is ready to go. I'll probably finish the cuff this evening so that it's ready for this week. I do have a short week at work because I am going to an AJR concert on Tuesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday I have off, and looking forward to having some relaxing time, having a blast at a concert, and knitting on the way there because my sister thankfully drives. So I'll be able to knit on socks. It is living in my Fat Squirrel bag, my purple ghosty sock bag. That is where those socks are currently living. Next work in progress. Sorry for the zipper. I typically unzip these so that they're ready to go, but sorry about that. So this is my other ghosty bag from Fat Squirrel, and this is where my Fragmentation Shawl by Stephen West lives. So let me find my actual whip here. If you want to know any of the colors that I'm using for this project, I have gone over them a couple times in past podcast. So you can go and watch those videos, or I have a link below for the Ravelry page where I list out all of the colors that I'm using for it. It is Kelborn Woolen's Perennial is the base, and then it is in various neon colors. So here is where, oops, little string in my face. Here's where I got to in the past 2 weeks. I only worked on it one night, so just did the 2 strands here. I also weaved in my ends for you guys, so it is ready and nice and neat. So where that stitch marker was the color strip that I was on the last time that I showed it to you. So I will move that up now. So this was my happiness project over the winter time. Thankfully, this winter wasn't too bad for me as far as depression or low mood. So thankfully, I wasn't in need of so much of a happiness project as in previous years. But let me get a close-up on this. So this is just garter stitch. The fragmentation shawl starts in this little semicircle here, and then you make a wedge, and I think I have 5 more stripes to go for this wedge. Then you bind off, and then you go back up to the wedge, you pick up some stitches, and then you start knitting the next wedge off of this one. So the colors will be shifted by 1. So if I'm not mistaken, the purple will be here where the green is, and the blue will be here where the purple is, and then whatever comes first, pink, will be here. Can't remember if that's the exact order that it goes in, but it will shift down each wedge, and that's why it's called fragmentation. Let's see. I think that is all for that, so not too much progress on the fragmentation shawl, but did get 2 stripes, so wanted to share that with you. And again, if you want to see those colors, check out the Ravelry page or previous videos if Ravelry is not currently accessible to you. Alright, so the last work in progress that I have is a new cast on, but you did see the yarn for it in the last episode. So I have been commissioned by my friend to make a queen size blanket for him. I'm not sure if he's giving it for a gift or if it's just for him for Christmas, but it is living in my new Cottontail Farms bag that I got from the Carolina Fiber Fest last month. And it currently does not fit in this bag. It is much too little to fit in here, but eventually it will fit. This is a crochet project. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it is a blanket. And it is a queen size blanket, so all of this will not fit on screen, but I will show you the important bits. So this is the Ocean Waves pattern by Laura Brown. So this is a free pattern on Laura's blog, and it is just a ripple blanket, just a simple ripple blanket. I have some stitch markers there that are marking my chains, the start of chains, because I sometimes have a hard time seeing the start of chains on crochet. So I have that marking each side so that when I am ready to end the row, I can use it, because this pattern does count the chain as a double crochet. Here is the other end where the ends are, and my stitch marker marking the right side or the starting side of the blanket. So I will move that up so that you guys will be aware of where I have gotten to and where we were last time. So I'll move that up to this gray row, even though technically I'm on the next row. So it is a 2-row repeat. Like I said, it's a pattern, free pattern, so you can check it out on her blog. But it is a 2-row repeat. So currently I have 2 colors, or 3. I can count, I promise. I have 3 colors in here currently. I have 2 colors completed. This is the dark denim, the same dark denim that was in Winnie on her pants. And then this green is called Mid Green. And then the gray is light gray. So that is the 3 colors I have currently. There are 5 total colors. The next 2 colors are dark olive, and I believe this is sea blue. Yes, sea blue. So these 2 colors will be next. I believe the next color I will do is the blue. So I'll do the sea blue next, and then the dark olive. The yarn I'm using again is, I love this yarn by Hobby Lobby. It is all 5 of the yarns are, I love this yarn, sorry, the Beatles now on my notebook. So all of the yarns are I Love This Yarn by Hobby Lobby, and I have 25 skeins in total for the blanket. That is calculated by, I did a swatch, did a whole bunch of math, and guesstimating that that's how much it's going to be for a 90 by 100 is the hopeful end. I have measured the, I'm ripping out stitches. That's okay. That's what crochet can do. It easily can be picked up and worked on later, so not a big deal. This is the giant blanket strand that I have. I have measured this from tip to tip, and it is about 92 inches. So I'm about 2 inches over, so it's going to be a little bit bigger, but I think I have enough yarn. I overestimated by about a half a skein, so everything is great there. I'm using a J clover hook for, or 6mm, yep, 6mm clover hook for the hook size. I did try it on the called for 5.5mm, and it was way too tight, too stiff of a fabric, and then I went up, because I had a 6.5, but that was too loose, so had to order a 6, but all is well there. So that will be a long-term project because, of course, it is a queen-size blanket, so I estimate it's going to take probably 6-ish months. So I am working on that, trying to do at least a strip a day, or at least work on it once a day. That way I don't get too super behind and have to rush near the end. If we are working on it a little bit at a time, it should be perfectly fine. I wanted to show you the little bug that's living on my... If you don't like bugs, don't look. He's now just chilling on my notes. Also, excuse my handwriting. It's horrible. As long as I understand it, right? Okay, so that is all the works in progress, finished objects that I have. I'm going to cast on a new pair of socks since Josiah's socks are finished. It will likely be the watermelon socks for my other nephew, Levi. So those will probably be cast on next. Let's jump right in to acquisitions next. I have a few for you. I'm going to start with a Progress Keeper set. This is from Hello Lavender. I don't remember when I ordered this. I know her turnaround time is, I don't want to say long because it's absolutely acceptable, or else I wouldn't order, but a little bit longer, so I don't remember the exact time that I ordered these. But it is a turned around sock. It is a sock Progress Keeper with 2 snowflake matching Progress Keepers. Sorry. She had these in a whole bunch of colors, and I just really liked the dark green ones. So those came in the mail this past week. So I will begin using those, especially with Summer Sock Camp. Summer Sock Camp. I know I talk about it all the time. That's my favorite time of the year, is Summer Sock Camp. So those will be on socks coming up. The next one is going to be Yarnable. So if you get Yarnable and you haven't received yours or haven't opened yours, look away for a bit, but it is, a weekend, so hopefully you have received yours and already taken a look. So the first thing in here is a puzzle in a tube. There we go. Is a puzzle in a tube, and it is 150 pieces. My niece has already claimed this, so I'll be bringing that to her to put together. It's a whole bunch of little teeny tiny pieces of donuts. So those will go to her to put together. She was very excited about that. And then you also get a tip-toppers? Stitch stoppers, whichever you want to call them. And these are donuts, which she has also claimed for her collection. But I told her I would put them in my collection and she can grab them out of there. So partial claimed on those by her. And if you guys don't know, I taught my niece, who is 9 years old, how to knit. And so she is taking after me in her collecting of all of the accessories and yarn and all of that. So when she claims those, it's because she wants to use them on her needles. There are also a Matchbox like seed tabs. These are little tiny strips of paper that have wildflowers in them. So I am actually going to be putting together a little greenhouse for my parents right after I finish recording and take Josiah his things. But when I get back home, I'm going to be putting together a greenhouse. So I might put those in some dirt to begin growing. So let's get to the yarn. So this is the yarn for April. The colorway is called Life is Short, Eat the Donut. And it is a nice neutrally yellow tan color. My camera is picking up a little yellow today just because of the way that the sunshine is coming in. You can kind of see the yellow haze on the top here, just because of the way the sun's coming in the windows here. But it is a neutral cream color with rainbow speckles all throughout, leaning very heavily on the blues, pinks, and purples. So that is the yarn from Yarnable. Put that back in there. And they always come with a coupon code for Hypnotic Yarns and details in this little pouch. If you don't know what Yarnable is a monthly yarn subscription. It is the best one that I have taken part in myself. I've done a couple of different subscription boxes over the past 2-3 years, and this is the best one and the one that I've stuck with the longest as far as price and the goodies that you get. I have very rarely not been able to use the goodies that come in there, the little extras, and if it is something that I wouldn't use, then I can typically pass it on to a family member or a friend. It's not that they're not usable, just maybe something that I don't use as often. Like, for example, I know they had soaps and things like that in there, and I'm a little bit sensitive to scented soaps and things like that, so maybe we'll pass that on to family members. But Yarnable is not always open for new subscribers, but I will include a link down below that you can add your name to the newsletter, and they'll let you know when it is open for new subscribers. The last acquisition that I got is I just happened to be in a couple of, I don't really know what they're called. They're like broadcast channels on Instagram. I don't know how I get added to them, but every once in a while I am on a Dyer's broadcast channel and they'll be like, new yarn, and y'all get the first pick. So anyway, somehow I am on Super Glow Fibers broadcast channel, and she let me know that she had just released, well, let us know because it's not just me, let us know that she had just released the shop update and it was ready to shop. So I hopped on there to see if there was anything that I wanted, because all of her colors are bright and happy and neon. And so I hopped on there and I saw two that I wanted. So the first one is called The Devil. Not sure why it's called The Devil. Doesn't really remind me of the devil. But it is just neon pinks, purples, oranges, speckled neon goodness. And so that had to hop into my cart. So this came in, and then while I was on there, I also saw a colorway which is called Lava Glow, which I'll show you in a minute because it's going to blow out the camera, I'm sure. Lava Glow looked very, very red, like a bright, bright red. And I'm always looking for reds for my friend Rezi for his socks. So Rezi, if you are watching, let me know if you still want socks out of this, because when I received it, it's much more of a pink than it is a red that I was thinking it was going to be. So if you still want socks out of this, let me know. Although my nephew Levi has already claimed a pair of socks out of it. So this is the colorway, and it is still showing up not as neon as it is in real life. Like, it is glowy neon, but it did show up a lot more pink. Like, this colorway down here is closer to what the skein glows. The end right here. It's an orangey pink. Not really a red, but this is the colorway I picked up. I showed it to my nephew and he said, yes, I need socks out of that. And what he wants is the main color to be this, and then this be the heels, cuffs, and toes. So usually you would do this as the main color and this as the heels, cuff, and toes, but heels, cuff, and toes. Yep, you know what I mean. But he wants this as the accent color for the sock, and then this the main color. So that is coming up soon as well. Shoo! I should have brought some drink. I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute. Hopefully I didn't rush through all of that. It feels like it went by fairly quickly. Sorry, Mr. Beetle, I'm going to have to evacuate you from my notebook. Sorry, because I need to hold it and I don't want you crawling on me. So really quick, last episode, because I had so many acquisitions and things, I didn't have, or I didn't feel like I needed to go into lifey stuff, and so I wanted to update you on a couple of things that have been going on. First of all, watching. I typically don't report too much of watching because I mostly just watch YouTube podcasts and video game playthroughs and things like that. But my nephew, my middle nephew, Levi, he is really into anime right now, and they released One Piece on Netflix, so the live action One Piece, and he said, you need to watch it. So I watched it, and then he said, and then you have to watch the anime, which is thousands of episodes long. But I said, sure, I'll watch them. And so I am watching One Piece, the anime. I am on episode 62. So moving quite along, going through all those things. I've now met the whale. Levi, if you're watching, I met the whale. So that was a goal that I was supposed to get to. So I've met the whale on the red line. There we go. I have also finished my most recent book for work. I'm going to put it here because I don't remember. It's like making friends or winning friends or winning friends and making people do what you want. It's a strange book title. It seems like it would not be a book that I would want to read, but it was fairly good. It is an older style book and also audio book, but which is how I'm reading it, is audiobook while I'm walking for work. How to make sure that people understand that you agree with them, you like them, you aren't pushing their ideas and thoughts and feelings underneath the rug. This is the book to read to learn about that if you don't have those things naturally. Other than that, I am learning Romanian through Duolingo. I am just doing the one lesson a day. It's very easy breezy, not too serious, but I am taking it serious in the sense that I want to learn some basics of the language. Several of my coworkers are Romanian, and so I was choosing between several of the languages that my coworkers work, and Romanian seemed to be the closest to some of the languages that I have learned very little of, like Spanish, French, that sort of thing. So I'm learning Romanian on Duolingo, and today is the 37th day I've done in a row. I've done it for a little bit longer than 37 days, but concurrently I've done it 37 days in a row at the moment. I think I've been doing it for about a month and a half, 2 months in total. So that's lifey stuff, the fun things that I have been up to. I don't have a next book for work. I need to message my boss so that he can get me one for tomorrow so that I can walk if the weather is nice tomorrow. So now we're just going to talk about stats. So I'm going to put some stats here while I talk about them so that you can visualize them as well. Keep in mind that my goal is to bring in a net negative, meaning I am working more yarn than I am bringing in so that my collection does not continue to grow beyond what it is now. I am comfortable with my collection. I've said it many, many times, and I will continue to say it. Collecting yarn is much, much different for me than using the yarn. I enjoy collecting it just as much as I enjoy using it. Collecting brings me inspiration. It brings me joy. I love looking at the colors and the different textures of yarn. So it is not an intention to destash. It is an intention to be more conscious in my buying and not overbuy. So here are my stats for the first quarter. I'm going to update you guys every quarter, so every 3 months. So these are the loose stats. There may be some that carried over into March or are in March or whatever, but these are just the loose stats that I had at the end of April. No, March. Y'all know what I mean. Y'all following. So this is for the first quarter. Skeins in, I had a total of 46 skeins. Now, I'm counting my stash by skeins, and that could be 50 gram skeins, it could be 100 gram skeins, it could be 150 gram skeins. I have some that are 136 grams, 120 if they're a sock set. So this is just a skein of yarn. I do not count minis as part of my stash. Those are scraps. So skeins in is a total of 46. That does include the 25 that I have purchased for this blanket. So just keep that in mind that I have not bought 46 skeins of sock yarn. This is including the blanket yarn, or 26 skeins technically, that I have bought for the blanket that I'm making for my friend. So 46 in. I have 31 skeins in my in-use database. I use Notion to track my in and out and like my collection, what I'm using, what I've used for the year. I started it in 2023 and then have just carried that on. So I used that to gather this data. So I have 31 skeins in use, and that includes the 25 or 26 from the blanket. So those are my current works in progress, and that doesn't include all of my works in progress, like my blankets that have been going for years. I don't know how many skeins are in those, so I'm not going to count those as used when I get there. This is only projects that I've started since using Notion. So I have 31 skeins in use. I have 14 skeins that I destashed in the month of February. I took them to the knitting retreat that I went to. They had a free table, and so 14 skeins got put on the table to go to a free home. Good home for free. That's what I meant to say. I have used, meaning I have taken the skein out of my stash and used most of that yarn in a project. 25 skeins of yarn have been used in the first 3 months of the year. So in total, I have had 39 skeins out of my stash. That means it is in a project, used as a project, and put the remainders in scraps or used it all up. 39 skeins out, including destash. So those are the stats. That's where I'm at. I think when I looked at it, I have used a total of 2,761 grams. I don't know where the 1 gram came from, but I have used that much yarn in projects so far this year. So all of my stats are incredibly loose. I'm not, meticulously counting my grams or, yards and all that sort of stuff. It's a very loose general calculation of in versus out. All right, so that is the end of the podcast for today. I thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching the video and working on your projects or your housework or building your greenhouse while watching or listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't already, please consider clicking the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. It also helps the channel grow and reach more people. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button because that lets this video grow in the algorithm as well, letting YouTube know that you enjoyed the video. And if you want to talk to me, leave me a comment. I am so very excited when I get comments. Y'all are the sweetest that leave comments on the regular, and I'm beginning to learn you guys' names and avatars and things like that. So I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.